There we go. We'll go for this. You want to try going back?
No. Don't give her ideas, Dad.
Oh my God. We're gonna die.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. All right, so it's way too hot out here still to go riding and camping. Heat index well over 100 degrees. We should have some relief not too long from now. Maybe here in a couple of weeks we'll get a little bit of a weather pattern change around here, but it's just too hot to be out in the woods right now. So I'm continuing to try and get a few projects done here in the driveway that I need to get done. So the other day I was rotating these Falcon Wild Peak AT4 tires, and I noticed while I had the wheels off that the rear brakes are just about shot. Let me get down here and see if I can get the camera to... Well, I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up. Let me go ahead and take this caliper off and then we'll be able to see for sure. But the inside pad looks like it's just about completely gone on this, which to me says that somebody didn't lube up the slides properly, or maybe these are the original brakes. I mean, the truck's got, what, 94,000 miles on it. Usually rear brakes last a long time. I don't know. These could be the Ford factory originals. So in any case, I need to put some new pads on this thing, and I'm going to do it the economical way today. So let's get started. All right, so the caliper bolts on this truck are 24 millimeter. So you're going to have a pretty good size socket. Not anywhere near what you would see on a half-ton truck. I mean, obviously you get up into these heavier duty trucks, you're going to have some heavier duty tools. I've already tried to break it free with this breaker bar, and I did not have any luck yet. So now I'm going to get out the air impact and we're going to try that. But right now things aren't looking too good. These bolts, maybe they are original because they are on there tight, really tight. Let's see what this thing will do. Well, that part right there just about wore a fella out. But look at there, got thread locker on there. No wonder they were hard to get out. Breaker bar finally got them though. So with the caliper off and resting up into a position where the hose is safe, let's take a look at the pads. So this one was the outside pad, and you can kind of see it had a pretty decent amount of material left. This one was the inside pad, and it's getting pretty thin. So the inside pad obviously was wearing down faster than the outside. You can even see how you still have this groove here on the outer pad. Look at that. And it's almost gone and flat on that inside pad. So yeah, probably just need to really lube up those slide pins good. And I do have some fresh lubricant that I bought at the store today to do that with. So when I put the new pads on, I'm going to make sure to lube everything up good. But before I do that, I'm going to take that rotor off and I'm just going to smooth the surface down. Now you can buy rotors, pads, lubricant, you know, the whole deal as a kit for around $250 if you go to some place like rockauto.com. It's not that expensive to do the whole thing if you shop online. If you go to a local shop, I've heard so many stories of people, you know, being charged $1,000 to do rear brakes or front brakes on these trucks, and it's just stupid. These are so easy to do, and the parts are not that expensive. If you spend $1,000 for brakes, then you're crazy. Anyway, so I got some really good ceramic pads that I'm going to upgrade to. They have a lifetime warranty on them. Got those for like 60 bucks for the whole set. Bought some brake cleaner and some lubricant. I was out the door for like 80 bucks. And then, like I said, I'm just going to take a sanding pad on my rotary tool and lightly smooth that surface down. And it will be just fine. I know a lot of people are going to say that's not the right way to do it. I don't care. This is going to work just fine. Trust me. And it's going to save me a lot of money. If you go to an auto parts store and try to buy those rotors, they're like $200 each. That just shows you how much markup auto parts stores put on parts. I'm not paying $400 for 2 rotors. Sorry, not happening. Especially on the rear, where they last forever anyway. And those, as you can see, are not in real bad shape. So anyway, I'm going to sand those down, smooth them up just a little bit, clean them with brake cleaner, put them back on, and then we'll put the new pads on. All right, now that the rotor is off, by the way, you're probably going to want a sledgehammer to get the rotor off if it's been on for a long time, because they do get frozen up on the hub. So you can smack it around some with a sledgehammer and it should come right off. But anyhow, the good news is you can see my parking shoes are in good shape. They just need to be cleaned up, but there's plenty of material there. So I'm not going to disassemble any of that and fool with that, because that can turn into a little bit of a puzzle. So I'm going to leave that part alone and just move on to cleaning up the main rotors. All right, so this is a Warrior angle grinder that I got for free one day because I simply walked into the local Harbor Freight store. It was one of those days where you walk in, you get a free tool. So I've never used this thing before. We'll see if it works or not. I had to buy some discs, so I got 120 grit discs here. And I'm just going to lightly go around here as uniformly as I can and just kind of knock off some of the scale. Again, these rotors are not in really bad shape. I just need to clean them up a little bit. And then we'll put the new pads on and stick it back together. So let's see if this works. Got my glasses on here. Better get my extension cord out of the way. That's what I better do. That's more like it. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's cleaning up pretty nice actually. There was just a very light groove around there from the old pads, and it's taken all that out. It's going to take a little more work than I thought, and in retrospect, I probably should have got a different type of pad. This is what they call a flap disc, and it's working, but they had some regular sanding discs that you can put on a backing pad, and that probably would work better in this situation, because then you could just lay it flat like that then and go around it. So live and learn, right? You live and learn sometimes, but this is going to work. It's just going to take a little bit more time. So let me clean these up and we'll move on with this video and not drag it out. All right, so it doesn't look like a brand new rotor, but it's going to function like a brand new rotor. You can take your fingers around here now and it's just as smooth as glass. You can't feel any pitting or grooves, even though it kind of looks like there's some still in there. It's a really smooth surface now. So this should work just fine. And I spent $8 on some of these pads. A whole lot better than $150, $200, or if you go to an auto parts store, $400 for 2 new ones, right? This will work exactly the same. So here's the pads that I ended up going with. I almost got some of those power stop pads. I've used the power stop pads in the past, and I really like them. But, you know, I just wanted to get this done today. So I went to AutoZone and I picked up some of these. They're ceramic. Now, the brakes that are on this Super Duty right now, dust like crazy. I mean, I can clean my wheels and a couple of days later they're covered in brake dust again. I mean, just look at all this brake dust everywhere. So I'm gonna go with some ceramics and just see what happens. Hopefully these will work out better. And the cool thing about these is they have a lifetime guarantee. So hopefully that'll work out a lot better. Also got some brake cleaner, and I got some more lubricant. So I'm gonna lube up those slides real good. Got some brake cleaner in here. So now I just gotta go clean everything up, get the pads on, see what she looks like. So I ended up losing a little bit of video, sorry, but long story short, got it back together. It's working fantastic. Now when the caliper brackets were off the truck and I started to check those slide pins in there, they were frozen solid. Okay, so if you've got one of these Super Duty trucks that's got some miles on it, that might be something you run into, is those slide pins that allow the caliper to do what it's supposed to do. They can get really frozen up. And like I said, both sides on this truck were frozen solid. So that explains why that inside pad was completely worn out, even though the outside pad had double the pad material left on it. So called around lots of auto shops around here trying to find new slide pins and or caliper brackets. Had a real hard time tracking any of them down. My dad ended up taking these down to his shop, putting them in the big vise, cleaned them up, got the slide pins free, and was able to sand them down, clean them up, lube them up, you know, make them work again. So I was fortunately able to put the factory brackets and slide pins back in here with a lot of lube. But anyway, everything is working fantastic now. These new pads are super quiet, no dust. They stop really great. No oscillation, no pulling left or right, nothing like that. Everything is perfect. And like I said, I've got 80 bucks total spent on both sides of the rear. Now the front brakes on this truck were done last year by the dealership before I bought the truck. Actually, I had signed papers and everything, and they were going through inspection on it back in the shop, and they ended up doing the brakes without me even asking. But so anyway, it's got all new brakes on it. But if I was going to do the fronts, I would do the same thing. I would go to the auto parts store, buy some good ceramic pads, take the rotors off, sand them down just a little bit. You don't want to take a bunch of material off. Obviously, you're just trying to sand it down and give yourself that smooth surface for the new pads to mate to. That's all you're trying to do. I would do the same thing, and I'd probably end up with, you know, 80 or 100 bucks invested in the front also. So again, you can do a brake job like this, you know, and do it correctly, do it in a way that's going to work for a long time, and do it very economically. Or you can take it to a shop and spend 10 times the money, literally. It's crazy what a fluctuation there is in how much it costs to do a brake job on one of these trucks, or really any truck. I mean, you could apply this to just about any truck or SUV. You know, it just depends. You're going to do it yourself, what parts are you going to buy, or you're going to take it somewhere else and do it. So you just got to decide. But as you can see, it's really not all that difficult. I had some user error in that job, you know, where I had never done a Super Duty like this before. But I've done brake jobs before, and I kind of understand the concept. So it's not hard to do. You can learn to do it, you know, at home on your own. It's not a big deal. So anyway, maybe that's helpful to somebody, maybe it's not. But if you're going to do a brake job on this truck, and the reason I wanted to show you this again is because I heard some guys on the forum the other day, or maybe it wasn't a forum, maybe it was one of the user groups on the Facebook page. Anyway, they were talking about getting quotes for a brake job on one of these trucks, $1,000 and I thought, man, that's just crazy. You know, so I just wanted to show you this to show you that you can do these brake jobs on a budget. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. All right, that's all I got for today, I guess. Gonna go watch the new Twisters movie. So y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you later.